No, I want to. You know what? That's something they never get into in these movies. They would be serving dinosaur at these like restaurants on
there
site.
would be boots and hats and bracelets and the necklaces with the shark tooth.
Yeah.
Why would it
Dinosaur
be any
teeth?
different with dinosaurs?
No, I'm just saying. You go to like the buffet, and they're like, "Yeah, we have filet mignon, but we have filet McBrachiosaur.
Yeah.
You want to try that?"
Well, there'd be the Brachiosaurus burgers.
Yeah.
And there would
like
be
a bison burger.
Yeah, the Brachio burgers. I like that. Okay.
T-Rex T-bones.
Yeah, the T-Rex T-bones. Okay.
That's good.
It's literally a T-bone.
The Triceratops chops.
Triceratop tip sandwich.
The raptor ribs.
Yo, I'm
That's
just
good.
saying.
That's good. They
Raptor
were completely missing a whole merchandising angle.
I don't know where they fucked up down the road with these sequels, especially with Jurassic World, where they have like Margaritaville there. Why don't they have a raptor's ribs?
And I bet some of these dinosaurs produced some sort of milk. So there's your cold treats. There's your yogurts, your cheeses,
dude,
your dairy products, your ice cream.
You could still have
Dinosaurs?
KFC, but it's Kentucky Fried Compy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Kentucky Fried Compy.
Yeah. I want to eat one of those little fuckers. They're vicious.
I kind of
want to eat one. I feel like it would be one bite, but it would be what a bite.
I don't know where am I. So we do Jurassic Park,
Yeah, we have Jurassic Park.
and then The Lost World,
Yeah.
and then Jurassic Park 3, which feels like this was The Lost World.
You know what? This does feel like
It's
the
'cause-
Lost World.
Well,
it was
no,
like
see-
they had built like a park and fences and roads and infrastructures around the pterodactyl habitat that have cage coverings, and like they put a lot of work into this one. What the hell happened?
Well, I guess we'll have to find out. And welcome back, everybody.
Stiff.
It's very stiff.
It's very stiff.
We tried that like 3 times. Don't
Yeah,
worry
it's
about it.
fine.
Don't
We'll
worry
do it.
never get better. It's only been 72 episodes. We will never get better. But welcome back. It's our Jurassic. It's no longer January, but we're gonna hang on for one more movie. We have Jurassic Park 3, and I gotta be honest, this one might be my favorite.
It's the best one.
I mean,
Like, it's not
Out
good.
of the 3, it's
good.
better than the other 2.
It's not good.
Kind
but
of.
when you have like the first one where you're like, this is a solid movie. The second one should never have been made. But this third one is kind of what I would want a sequel to be, where it's more dinosaur violence.
Yep.
Like dinosaurs are snapping necks like they're Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, and it's awesome.
Well, and
I have a lot to say about that.
that wasn't even like that was just like this one needs to not be alive. Like
Yeah.
and they were trying to make it more intelligent.
They're not
but
even hunting to eat. They're just like, yo, this bitch is dead.
the
Crack
main.
its neck.
I feel like we're gonna kind of take a crap on this movie, but the one thing that I feel like they really didn't need to do,
Yeah.
dude did not need to own a hardware store. Dude should have been like a land of like. It would have been perfectly fine if he was rich.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, well, here's a bunch of good jokes. Let's stuff this one in here and make it not fit.
So are you saying you don't want poor people in your movie?
Yes,
Whoa.
Okay. All right.
because like look at first of all just the cost of the trip that
Yeah,
the
like
kid
chartering a plane and all that.
even okay. First of all, you'd had to go to Costa Rica, and then charter a boat near it, and then charter a boat that is gonna hang glide you all without the white like.
And the whole crew,
Yeah, and
they didn't pay up front.
so they were writing bogus checks, and if they were rich, they wouldn't have had to explain so much, and they could have focused on not getting eaten by dinosaurs instead of having these little bits of like danger, respite, words but no character development, and then danger, they get away again, and then now the guy that was able to go to a different country and send his son to hang gliding and go, we've done all these trips and blah blah blah, and it's just, wait, you own a hardware store. Where are you getting the $400K to put this out?
I was gonna say, it sounds like a rich person problem to be like, oh my God, my son was hang gliding in Costa Rica without me,
and the hardware store just did really great this year. It's like, no,
I sent my son to Dinosaur Island and something went wrong, Sokka.
it's like, oh, what the heck?
No, but all right, you make some good points. There is no character development in this movie outside of, you got Ian Grant being like, yo, Malcolm from the last movie kind of sucked, right?
Yeah.
And like everyone was like, yeah, we'll nod our heads to that. And then you got the parents who are like, we hate each other, but we survived dinosaur attacks, so now we're in love again.
Yeah, I guess we're getting back together because that's what every divorced parent story
also
is.
hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that the current husband died.
I think the kid just left him hanging in the tree, because that would be the only way that he was still attached to the.
Yeah, well, something probably chased him off.
So this is my complaint with this movie, and it started in the last sequel, and it's like, why are you going to show me people being killed off screen and not show me the dinosaurs doing it? Like in this opening hang gliding, when they're on the boat and like they go through the fog and then you just get dead bodies on the boat. It's like, dude, don't be like the last movie where people just died on a boat and you don't tell me how.
That's where sometimes that works really well. Like a horror movie where they don't want to show you, like they don't reveal the monster. It's like, well, we know it's dinosaurs.
Yeah, we're in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, there's been other Jurassic Parks.
We know there's dinosaurs on this island.
He made a carbon copy of the island, and then you're just putting another movie on it. So, like, we know it's dinosaurs, but also they would have had to explain swimming dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
the pterodactyls that fly off the island at the end of the movie that we're just like, no, don't worry, they're just trying to find home.
No, they're fine. They're good.
It's like, where are they going? It's like, that's Costa Rica.
They're going to their death because we're going to gun them down once they cross the border.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, if they even tried to fly over American soil.
You're getting shredded. You're getting shredded.
Yo, what the fuck is that? I don't know. Shoot it.
Unidentified flying object.
Kill it. It
Put
looks like an
37
animal.
bullets in it.
Doesn't matter. Light it on fire.
So we get introduced to the parents of this child.
Boo.
Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
And this lady, I am so upset that she didn't get eaten by a dinosaur. I wanted her to get eaten by a dinosaur the whole time.
I think even as a kid watching this movie, I wanted her dead.
She deserved to be eaten by a dinosaur.
It was enough I hate you, where at the end you're extremely disappointed that she only falls down a couple times.
Like, she made it out unscathed.
Like she has like some blood on her cheek
Yeah.
for a half a scene, and then they forgot to put it on later.
When they get countered by the raptors at the end and the one's like headbutting her, I just wanted it to like take an ear. Like take a chunk out of her cheek, something, just to be like, yeah, you stole my eggs, I got them back, but I'm taking a piece of you with me.
Yeah,
like
oh my God.
since you have like vindictive dinosaurs in this movie where they're snapping necks,
very
and, like
vindictive.
they kill a guy who's just on the ground, they set a trap and then they snap his neck as they're leaving.
Like, yeah, we didn't like this one. He was just a pawn.
Yeah, like if you're having raptors show this much intelligence, which is freaking cool, like I'll give that to you every way, but have them do something like vindictive like that. Like take her arm with you as you're really.
She should have gotten half of her arm munched off.
I think the coolest kill for this was the big claw just disabling that guy to set that trap. That was the coolest thing, and there's always the bite and shake and then cut somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then this was like you actually saw it happen. It was one of the few times where it wasn't the little tiny dinosaurs,
Right.
and then the pterodactyls going after dude underwater.
Yeah, just pecking at him.
It's covered up, and then you hear the guy scream at the when they first crash land. You hear him screaming, and what happened? That's the deal. Oh my word! But we just see trees going. Eh.
Mm.
And also, I want to say, just in this beginning, like, I already knew by Jurassic Park 3 we would get kind of stupid. But when they're flying to this island and Dr. Grant wakes up from a dream and it's a velociraptor being like,
forgot about
Alan. I'm like, all right.
It would have been better if they didn't move the dinosaur and it was just his voice.
Yeah.
But the
Alan. Like, why?
That was so unnecessary.
They could have saved like $15,000 just by not moving that dinosaur's mouth in that shot.
Right.
It's also one of those things where it's not a consistent, like, he wasn't having nightmares like that before or after. It happened one time. And you think he would be having a vision of something terrible happening, not a vision of a dinosaur saying his name.
But I think this
that opens up other stuff.
Well, you actually bring up a good point. Like, because not putting Alan Grant in the second movie, but then putting him back in the third one, and now he has all this character development. And the same thing with Ellie Sattler. Like, she's got a husband and a kid now. So, like, if you want us to pick up on their lives, like, they should have had a part in the second one.
Maybe, or...
Granted, I'm sure they didn't sign up for it because they were like, one is probably enough.
Right.
They're like, we're not going back to Jurassic Park. Not again.
You can't get me with them raptors.
Even the actors were like, that was too much.
Yeah, Sam Neill is just sitting at home like, hey, I won't go back to that T-Rex.
Oh, I bet their residual checks are pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm like, if you're gonna go back and you're bringing back the legacy characters, and I'm sure it's gonna be the same thing with this Jurassic World Dominion. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
but like, you bring back Sam Neill, you bring back Laura Dern, all those people, but like, you don't do anything with them. Like, if you want us to continue in Alan Grant's life, like, yeah, he's giving lectures at the beginning, but you zip through that so fast. And then he's on the island again after just saying, like, no force in heaven or on earth could ever get me back on that island.
You're immediately like, I
What
wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder
what
where he's
about
gonna be.
a big fat check?
Yeah,
could that get you
and
back?
again, it comes down to money, because they did something wrong for the people that escaped Dinosaur Island can't fund dinosaur research 4 years later.
Right.
After a dinosaur was in California.
Yeah, you think that would
think,
help their research?
Like, even just like the super rich people that are just like, we'll pay $50,000 for a plate at this dinner.
Right.
Because we just want to talk to the dinosaur guy. We don't give a shit what he's researching or what he's trying to come up with. We just 2 years ago, that guy got chased by a T-Rex 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll pay for a plate just to be like, hey guys, guess what I did last weekend? I was with the dinosaur guy. It's like, come on.
Yeah. But so the whole reason that they go, if you haven't seen this movie in a while and you forget for some reason, the whole reason they go to this island is because their son gets lost, right? And their son has been lost for 8 weeks
on Dino Island.
On an island where there are no people, only dinosaurs. So just that fact alone, even if there weren't dinosaurs, you would think that natural causes would have got him by now.
The 12-year-old's not making it in a civilized country for 8 weeks by himself at 12, let alone an island that has dinosaurs. It's like, come on.
And like, they throw in some dialogue where he's like, yeah, I read Alan Grant's book about dinosaurs. That doesn't make you qualified to survive for 8 weeks on Dino Island.
That one sentence is the hacking line in the first movie.
Yes.
And then there's got to be
and
the equivalent.
And it's the gymnastic line in the
gymnastics
fucking second one.
line in the second one. So they do what you do best, I guess. But at the same time, sure, they give you little stuff like the T-Rex pee and whatever, but where he says, I don't even want to know how you got that. It's like, well, we fucking do.
Yeah.
We want to know how the 13-year-old got T-Rex
That
piss.
seems like a more interesting movie than the entirety of The Lost World.
And criminal that he says, be careful with that. It scares most dinosaurs away, but it attracts a really big one.
With a fin.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
how
so
did he
they-
get away from the giant dinosaurs? What I want to know.
I mean, he's cool. Don't
He's
even worry
just-
about it.
he's
He's
just
got
good.
plot
Like-
armor, super thick plot armor.
So, like, there is something I do want to mention about this plot. Like, this is the only plot where I feel like it makes sense that they wind up stranded on Dinosaur Island. Like, like in the first one, it's like, all right, we made a theme park and we brought people here. Things went wrong. Okay, so that
There
one makes
was
sense.
already people there that were still alive when they
Right.
got there.
Right. But then when you get to the second one and it's them sending people after the events
Yep.
of the first one, this was only 4 years after the first one, and they're still sending people to Dinosaur Island, and shocker, something goes wrong and everybody dies. So like this third one, when it's like Alan Grant reluctantly giving rich people a tour
Yep.
of like the island that happens to crash land, and now it's them
And
escaping. Like it
I
it
don't
makes more
know.
sense to me.
The
It could be. It could just be me.
it does make more sense, but I still feel like if they were actually super rich, something going wrong with the plane
Mhm.
would have been like way more believable, because you're telling me that the guy that owns the hardware store was able to con all of this together,
Yeah.
and
all right,
then
that makes sense.
and then the pilot was okay with landing.
Yeah, like everybody on board was cool with landing on this island.
Right.
Everybody had absolutely no problem except for Grant.
Yeah, and even the mouse guy from Green Mile
Right.
was like, I'm not exactly a mercenary. I'm just kind of
And
like a
he
fill-in
was-
guy because the other guy was sick.
But the only guy that was legit was the first guy that died.
Yeah.
And then the pilot, who also doesn't
Died.
make it. So it's like, okay, so the two guys that signed up for it and were legit didn't make. Everybody else that wasn't supposed to survived way longer with no reason to.
Well, that's the thing with these movies. You bring in the experts, but
And the
they
experts
all
get eaten
die.
by
They all
fucking
get eaten.
dinosaurs.
Like that's the crazy part. And then
which
you
is cool.
have-
Which is cool, don't get me wrong.
And then you have the chaos mathematician in the second one, who is apparently now the greatest dinosaur
Yep.
expert ever to live. But it's like, yeah, that
So once you
kind of
get
falls
past
apart the more you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, which let's not overthink it. So they're on the island now,
Yeah.
for better or for worse.
And our favorite
yeah.
mother is screaming her face off
That was-
immediately.
That was something I feel like we all, including the entirety of everyone who's watched this film, was like, and I said to these guys, I was like, hey, if we're on a dinosaur island and I tell you to shut the fuck up and you keep talking, I'm gonna shoot you in the back of the head. I'm gonna murder you.
Or like at least slap. Like
Like,
you gotta start
hit her.
slapping people if they're not
He
following
punched
your
he
rules.
punched the dad for
Yeah.
tricking him on an
No,
island.
Yeah.
what's
Now
that-
she's actively trying to get him killed and he doesn't hit her.
What's that line from Predator? He's like, if you give away our position again, I'll bleed you real quiet, leave you there to die.
Yeah, we need a little more of that.
You didn't even have to go that nuts with it. He could have just been like, we're going to knock you out and
Yeah.
walk 30 yards away in dense jungle and now you die.
And they consistently do this throughout the movie where everybody's yelling all the time. And every time,
Each one of them starts yelling.
yes, every time they're just like, no, be quiet.
No,
You're
but-
being too loud. It's
No, but you don't understand. They're in a different part of the jungle, so they can yell now.
Okay. Walking distance it is okay, so they're
No, it's
8
completely
miles
stupid.
8 miles away, and so
Like, especially when they're in the pterodactyl thing at the end and they're shouting loudly
okay, you
across
can
the-
go now.
it's like the fact that here I feel like we've glossed over this point. She thought it was a good idea to bring a megaphone to the dinosaur island, and immediately off of the plane, which already attracted a shitload of noise, right? That made a
Yeah.
ton of noise. It's like you you can't drive to where you're gonna hunt. You have to drive and then walk miles to where you're gonna hunt. That's just how it works. So an airplane, which is louder than an F-150 pickup truck, is gonna completely fuck you up. And then you pull out a megaphone and start screaming in English. It's like, what the hell?
Dinosaurs can tell if you speak English also, by the way.
And this is right after they were like, the raptors are smarter than dolphins. And you're just like, well, let's use a megaphone to let them know exactly where we are.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you guys notice in this one, like, the dinosaurs actually felt like the villain? Where more so the last two, the dinosaurs were just kind of like circumstance,
but at the same time they're in their house.
No, but just hear me out. So this Spinosaurus that they introduce in this opening plane crash follows them to every major moment of the film, and he's it's always there. It's always their biggest roadblock. And then even the raptors are have their own personality where they're now hey, ain't I a stinker? I'm going to bite you and come find you, and then I'm going to set up a trap behind this little, globe thing.
He's looking.
Yeah,
that part makes me laugh every time.
It was like what we said in the beginning. It's there's vindictive dinosaurs in this movie.
He's like, I'm going to watch you.
Before, it just felt like they were animals that things are happening to them and they're reacting. Now it feels like Jason Voorhees was alive in prehistoric times.
I think they're writing too much into the dinosaurs personality, or they kind of have their own story.
Yeah.
And part of that with the whole snapping necks things, I just have to say, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but dinosaurs, if it wanted to kill you, it would rip your head off.
Right.
It would tear you in half, but they didn't want to do the CGI required to rip a dude's head off.
This had to be PG-13.
It had to be PG-13.
Yeah, that's true.
And it had to be, I don't know, cheap, I guess.
Right.
As cheap as it could be.
Less expensive, less blood, please.
But the fact that more than once a dinosaur twisted a dude's neck, I am so sorry.
It wasn't even the one. Yeah,
it happened
you're right.
twice.
You're right.
Because the
So
Spinosaurus
ridiculous.
snaps the T-Rex neck, doesn't even eat the thing, just roars over its dead body, and it's I'm off.
All right, so if I go out and I kill a cow because I'm hungry, and I see a rabbit run away, I'm not going to chase the fucking rabbit. I'm going to eat the fucking cow.
Yeah.
And it's some
I
of that
would
stuff
chase
is
the
just
rabbit and
gee,
snap its neck and then go
and then go eat the cow. And just be like, I don't like people watching.
You shouldn't have interrupted dinner.
But even if it's not okay, the dinosaur and dinosaur thing with the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus, it makes sense that they would kind of be fighting for dominance. Once it's dead, they're not going to eat, probably not. But with all the other dinosaurs and the humans are prey. That is food. They would eat it.
Yeah, when the Velociraptor snaps Mice Guy's neck and then just runs away. It's no.
He would be dragging that thing back.
Take that body with
Yes.
Also, what were they late for?
oh, my bat mitzvah.
They had to run away.
Where are they going? Is it past Raptor curfew or is it $8 movie night at the Raptor?
But
it's stupid.
They should have been dragging bodies away.
Yes.
Every single body should have been dragged away. They're taking it back.
No, there should have just been skeletons of picked apart corpses.
Yes.
Or
come on.
Or they don't need to take it back. They eat it while it's there. We cut to later when they're finished eating, and then they
it's
go
just
away.
bones.
No, well,
There's ways to do it without showing it, I guess.
It's like that one scene that they use as comic relief where they're digging through the dinosaur shit, and the other big thing comes walking out and smells them and is like, nah, I'm good. No, that thing would fucking eat them. It doesn't give a shit what you smell
move,
like. It's going to kill you and take a bite.
There was a lot of... and you're right. So they knew what humans are.
Yeah.
They have a taste for humans.
They would have known the humans are trying to hurt me.
Right.
And
especially based off that last
they
movie.
would have killed them all. And that is something that's weird because most animals, and this is like in the real world, obviously,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm
like
trying to
clearly
relate it
we
to
don't
the
know about
third
dinosaurs.
dinosaur movie. I'm relating this, but like most animals don't just kill for the sake of killing. Most animals kill because they're hungry or they're back they feel threatened by you,
Right.
and they think they're you backed them into a corner, right?
Yeah.
And these were like, so it's like they're either going to eat you or avoid you. And these were like, we just kind of want to be in the scene.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like they just wanted to be in the movie.
Yeah.
They just had to give a little screen time to every type of dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
The dinosaur union was unhappy with the other two.
and like they really got away from animatronics in this one. Now the Spinosaurus in most of the attacks is an animatronic, and it
It's
looks
cool.
good.
It's cool.
But then as soon as they zoom out to a wide shot, that thing is CGI as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how did the CGI look so much better in '93 with Jurassic Park 1?
Yeah.
And then you get to what, 2001?
Budgets and
2003?
I think it's also how much they use CGI in this one compared to the last
Yeah.
one, or in like the first one especially.
Right.
Whenever there is like in the second one where the trailer's getting rolled around, or anytime they're like in a car and there's something coming at them, like they're using a real dinosaur
Yeah.
face. They use so much more CGI in this one, from
Right.
like the plane crash that looked really janky through the
Oh,
trees.
that was bad, yeah.
yeah.
And it's like they probably would have done something more practical if it were in 93 versus
Yeah,
in 2001.
when they
Or-
didn't
or
have
even
the technology
Yeah.
to CGI
90%, like even because a lot of times they'll do something with a scale model and then add some CG touches.
it. Yeah, just
to
to
it.
Yeah.
flourish
And
it.
we can kind of tell because I don't know, models don't carry the same weight, so it's not going to crunch. You know,
Right.
the it's not going to compress the body of the plane.
Yeah.
But you can actually have it ricocheting off of real things and then just add a little bit of flair to it with CGI,
Yeah, because like
which was way cooler.
the biggest thing that took me out of it was they're sailing down this river, and all these brontosauruses are there, and this thing, when it's reeled back, the neck is like huge, and then it gets closer to the camera, and all of a sudden this thing has a 2-inch neck.
Right.
When before it had
Now
like
we-
a 30-foot neck.
We said this about like some of the perspective stuff going.
Yeah, it gets a little goofy.
So you can kind of tell that they're not used to going from scene to scene or blending shots with the CGI like that. It's just not as good yet.
yeah,
Like
it really is.
now, nowadays they do that kind of thing way better, but just everything CGI,
Yeah.
which is the difference.
yeah,
But so they're trying to find this kid.
Yeah, they find him.
They find the kid.
So it's
Like-
a classic. You have to get your team split up.
Gotta split up.
And somebody always gets left behind. And Dr. Grant,
Yeah.
Professor Grant, whatever his name is, he finds the kid.
Mhm.
Yeah, he gets cornered by raptors, and this kid comes out of fucking nowhere and saves him with
ghillie
gas
with a
grenades.
ghillie suit on.
Yeah,
Those are my last 3 gas grenades. It's like, how many did you have?
How did you find any
Also-
to begin with?
Tell me how you survived 8 weeks on Dinosaur Island.
I think they should have made it like 2 weeks.
2 weeks would have been believable.
The fact that they made it 8 weeks is a little crazy. Also, I think even at any age, but especially when you're younger like that, you would just kind of go like a little bit stir crazy at
isn't
that
it-
point.
And
Isn't
just
it like-
you would just wander around
Yeah.
and just
But-
get eaten.
Isn't
Yeah.
like the rule like after the first 48 hours, then you're considered missing? So like, why would they wait 8 weeks before they set off on an expedition to
and
save them?
they never mentioned like, oh, it took so long to put this crew together.
Yeah,
or, like,
no.
we're given
like
we're
a
given
simple
nothing.
little dialogue would have helped.
All they said was like the Navy and the Marines, like they
Didn't-
wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
so
they said it was out of their jurisdiction. I was like, okay,
Yeah, it's Costa Rica.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, if you
But,
duh,
like-
duh.
But no, that's a good.
It's like that's an act of war if we go there, so
Yeah.
we're not going to.
But we've said before, like, if they just would have added in a
Yep.
small little dialogue of, oh my, like, especially when they're on the island and Grant like punches him for the first time, and it's just like, why the fuck did you bring us here? He could have been like, listen, We've been at this for 6 weeks trying to get a team together.
Boom.
You're the only ones who
Now we're
responded
good.
positively.
Yep. Now we're good. We're all set up.
Cool. I'm on board with that.
I feel like they tried to do some of that with like the explanation of he had to be kidnapped kind of,
Right.
and then the check for the mercenaries obviously wasn't going to clear. So they did a little bit of that, but it just seemed to be the wrong thing. And then even with the like I said before, the T-Rex pee, it was like, sure, that's a lighthearted moment
Right.
as you sit in a tanker with a kid that survived for 2 months on Dinosaur Island when the trained professionals are all dead and everything's grown over.
Well,
but
Like they died within in 2 hours,
And
maybe.
it really takes the stakes out, because if this kid with no training, no supplies,
is doing
no
better
nothing,
than all the adults.
can survive 8 weeks on this island must not be that bad.
And the other thing was, it wasn't his size.
yeah,
It wasn't because he was small. Because there's a lot of times in these type of movies where, they were looking for adults, so the kid was able to hide,
right.
and they give you some niche hiding place for whatever world
Right.
you're in.
It's like he found a cave or something that
But-
no one
Right,
could fit
like
into.
he had to
like-
squeeze through this,
Yeah.
and there was no dinosaurs in that cave. Cool, he gets it. But in this one, it was a tanker that the adult man had no problem getting into. So it's just like, okay, well, why didn't all the people that were dying just get in the tanker that was
Yeah.
there when the kid got here?
Like,
Yeah.
how did the heavily armed soldiers in the last one die so easily, but this
Right.
fucking 14-year-old is totally fine
Yeah.
with living off of Crunch bars and fucking Lay's potato chips?
Well, I mean, you can survive, but you're also, and this is just my brain. You're in a fucking oven
yeah.
because you're off the coast of Costa Rica and you're in a metal tube,
Yeah. Like,
and that's
It's
where you're
gonna be
sleeping.
really
It's
hot.
like you're gonna need so much water.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna, but
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter. It's
Yeah,
just something I noticed where I was like, all right, so you're in an oven for 8 weeks? Cool.
So, and also moving on from here, I don't understand how they got so separated where they couldn't even hear each other screaming, because they're screaming this whole
Yeah.
movie.
Because the scene that sets this up is they're running from the Spinosaurus and they get into a stampede, but they all exit at
The
the
same
same
way.
time.
And then
so
just
how
go.
they all
shoo.
get mixed up, and Dr. Grant ends up 50
Well,
yards away
even
from
before
everybody
he's like,
else.
head for the trees. So in the middle of a dinosaur stampede, you can hear him say, "Get to the tree line."
Yeah, and the
But
amount of times
you're not
these
close
guys,
enough where you can see each other.
and the amount of times these guys are falling in this stampede and don't get crushed
Yep.
instantly.
One person, I think I said this last time, at least one person needs to get crushed by a
Well,
dinosaur.
somebody got stepped on in this one, but it wasn't.
But it was
would've
after
been
he was
cooler.
already dead.
They should have kept him alive and then just smushed him
yeah.
by the.
The second one got us those two
Lethosaurus.
T-Rexes ripping a dude in half.
Mm.
You get nothing like this,
Yeah.
like that in this movie.
No, you.
If anything,
you really-
the
you
violence
really
towards
don't.
the dinosaurs is worse than the violence towards the people.
They light the one on fire.
Yeah.
They start.
It's a little crazy.
That's kind of mean.
But so they end up finding each other. I feel like a lot of this is just kind of fluff to get them
Yeah.
back together.
Like I said, they run,
Yeah.
they talk,
Yeah.
they run, they talk, but kind of fight,
Yeah.
and then the the divorced couple starts looking at each other longer. It's so fucking. stupid.
They're giving
They're
each
like-
other the
They've
parent
got-
trap eyes.
Yeah, they've got the I'm starting to notice you on this
Ooh.
island, and it's just like, I'm starting to notice you on this island. You look great. Yeah, you look good too. Well, I've been swimming. You don't know how to swim. I learned. It's like, shut
Like,
the fuck up.
Nobody cares about your love story.
I'll give it to this movie. It's the shortest one of the series. It's only
It
an
is.
hour and 20 minutes.
$1.20 and you're done.
And I'll give it to, it's a lot of dinosaur action. But
Yep.
when you fill in the other 50%,
with hot
shit
garbage.
dialogue and the every divorced couple trope in the book, like they were always still in love but they just had to separate because like fuck you. A dinosaur island wouldn't put you together. If anything, it'll make you hate each other more because now you have to survive in the most dire of circumstances.
I was gonna say about the parents, they didn't seem like that worried about their kid.
They really weren't.
Like,
no, and they
from
sold
the
trip.
Yeah.
Really? So, well, they'd had 8 weeks to practice.
Yeah, and this dad jumps to a lot of conclusions. He's like, yeah, Eric's a smart kid. He probably thinks all the bigger dinosaurs are on the inner part of the island, so he went to the coast. I'm like, how would you fucking even possibly know that?
And then you get the kid goes, oh, you're going to the coast? The closer to the coast you get, the bigger the dinosaurs get. Wrong. That's not how the world works. It's not how anything works on the planet.
You think they would just kind of be like scattered?
Yeah.
The bigger the animal, the farther away from people it wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like there's a lot of conveniences in this movie, and there's a lot of how the hell did we get here when you walk 2 feet and now apparently we're down a cliff face and everything's totally okay.
Also, they made it around like the entire island somehow.
Yeah, they did really well. They were hoofing it.
So, I mean, they get to the pterodactyl bird's nest, and cool, they brought in pterodactyls. Their designs, I think, look really cool.
They were kind of badass.
I liked their, chasing
They were
scenes.
mean looking too. Like
the beaks.
They had the one pterodactyl just straight up, just
mean mug the camera.
Look into the camera, and I'm just like, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
That's like one of 3 moments where you're like, that was cool. But before we get into the pterodactyl stuff, I didn't like the kid. I didn't give a shit about the kid. It was one of those things where he was smart enough to survive, sarcastic enough to like get along with adults,
hang
because
with big dogs.
You can't have one child in a movie with only adults and not have him be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like the kid is always going to be sarcastic. If it's one kid and the rest of the cast is adults, they're going to be a dickhead.
Yeah, look at the kid from The Mummy Returns. He's a fucking little...
that's an extreme case of it. But like also with this, like sure, he was happy to see his parents. That's great. But after he was done being happy to see his parents, it was kind of like
he served his purpose.
It was like, okay, he's done. He was no longer the glue for the parents, and it was like once the parents found him, then the parents got back together, and it was like, well, wouldn't the kid have to do something?
Right.
And I think he was also way too witty for being trapped on an island for 8 weeks.
He's gonna be losing his fucking mind,
right? Yeah. He'd be like, "Oh my god, get me out of here! I gotta like." You think he'd be freaking out?
He wouldn't be wisecracking when he saw another human being. Oh, how'd you get that pee? You don't want to know.
Like military veteran composure in a 13-year-old boy who. It's only been 8 weeks. It's like he's got PTSD in the first 2 months.
You would be so shocked to see another human being. You would shit and piss yourself simultaneously.
Yeah.
As soon as you saw another human being.
Attracts big dinosaurs.
Which would attract big dinosaurs, and then you're both dead. But he doesn't act like he's been stranded on an island and his stepfather was ripped apart down to the bone, apparently in front of him.
Yep.
I don't know if it's bad acting, though. I think it might be bad directing.
Yeah, because you can't really blame it on the kid, but also if he'd have got 8.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It just felt like...
Wouldn't have cared.
Like, when this movie starts, you know who's dead and who's going to survive till the end. And even when you're on the island, no matter what situation they're in, these guys have the most plot armory of plot armor. The dad is literally hanging from a crane, and the dinosaur doesn't bite him, who's at face level.
It's biting distance.
It headbutts the crane instead.
Yep.
To be like, hey, get off. Hey, get off. I'd rather fish for you.
Yeah, it's not my birthday. We only do human piñatas on my birthday.
Like they take the unpredictability out of it. because no matter what situation, like a guy literally hang glides and is totally fine as he's getting picked apart in the water by pterodactyls. He's totally cool at the end of the movie.
You think he's dead, and then he ends up back in it. And then also something with Billy that I didn't like at all was the amount of like shaming that was done to him for taking a couple of the eggs. Like either one of them
who built this place.
Yeah, like either one of them knew that the raptors were going to follow the egg scent trail when they literally made a point to show 3 or 4 different nests of like 15 eggs, 20 eggs. It's like there's 60 eggs here. Dude takes 3, and those raptors are going to come after the 3. It's like
they would cut their losses,
which
I'm pretty sure.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if they're going to go after those 3, they know those 3 eggs would have survived. So there's 100% birth rate of all those eggs. So each time the raptors have babies, there's 65 more raptors on an island.
Well, I think the thing that's more concerning is just the fact that the scent of it is going to attract them to you. And I would think that they would just kill you if you smelled like them.
And then you'd see the raptor, because they're so smart, realize it's an insulated bag, throw it over its shoulder, and then walk back home.
Like the ending of this movie where the raptors are just like shaking them down, like, give us back our eggs. Like,
it's a Mexican standoff with dinosaurs.
They would kill all of them and then like search your remains and be like, do I smell my eggs? No? Okay, well, here's dinner. Yeah. There's 5 people.
Also,
that we can
these
eat.
eggs are going to hatch soon. Let's bring them people
let's
as
bring
the
our
first
food.
meal.
But like it's
like, oh, it's to go.
Yeah, they really went a little too ridiculous with what they think dinosaurs would be doing.
Oh, speaking of ridiculous, what dinosaurs are doing, going back to the pterodactyls, I think it happened twice where the pterodactyls would like pick up people by their arms and like so gracefully where they were not damaged, you know.
Yeah, they definitely didn't.
Nobody got their arms.
No one got their arms ripped off. Or like
Also, the amount of times predators miss is nuts.
They wouldn't miss.
The raptor is not missing people.
No.
It's like the cheetah misses the gazelle because they're both doing highway speed.
Yeah.
They're doing highway speed.
Trust me.
The human's running 16 miles an hour. He's got a 40-pound backpack on, and you just whiff. And you're telling me that they survived.
It's really funny when a raptor goes sliding across the floor into a pane of glass. However, it would be on top of that person, ripping out its esophagus.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to
Because it's a wild animal and it doesn't have a personality.
They give it too much personality.
And that's what loses me when you get into these Jurassic World movies. How the fuck are you training a velociraptor like a dog?
Right?
Like, they're wild fucking animals.
But they're so smart. They have their own like lounge clubs and like you see
Cigar
two
bar.
raptors in the back playing checkers in the park.
Like one's smoking a cigar. Like, oh, I can't believe the economy is down.
One's painting its long nail.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Like, I can give you smart animals. That's totally fine. But when they start acting like they have a personality and like they hang out on the weekends at their like fucking like
right. They're like, oh, we're going to go yachting this weekend.
Yeah.
But their communication is so much more advanced than we could ever possibly understand.
That's what I don't get. Because the only thing they communicated was, here's food.
And
run away.
I need help. And let's go over there.
So it's like the basic communication
that
skills
all
of every animal has.
But it's so much more intelligent
Like
than we
when a
could
dog
possibly-
whimpers, guess what? It's sad.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Or you stepped on it. Like, there's 2 options with that.
Typically, when a cat meows, it wants food.
You were either hitting it or you didn't feed it today.
I totally wish raptors were smart enough to like open doors and play checkers. Like, it would be great.
It'd be cool.
But like when
They
you
weren't
bring
able
them
to
back
showcase
from the
it.
dead and then you expect me to think they're exactly like prehistoric
Right.
animals. I'm like, it's not going to work.
We might be beating a dead dinosaur
Yeah,
here,
we're beating the shit out of this dead
This
dinosaur.
brontosaurus is dead on the ground
Yeah.
due to
But
bats.
with the raptors, they did so much about the intelligence and the vocalization, and then dude pulls out the plastic voice box in its face. He was from Steve 3 feet away. How far away were we, Steve? That's how far the raptor was. Now, if I go, hey, it's Danielle, I need help, and you leave the apartment, I'm going to question your intelligence. If I go, oh, Steve, I need your help, I'm locked out of the apartment, and you fuck off, I'm probably not coming back, Steve. It was
you
just,
deserve all of my belongings at that point.
like, and the one thing... The one thing I was really glad they didn't do, and I had this thought when I first saw this movie, and I had it again when I watched it again, was at any point, if that dude flipped that thing around to blow in the correct end, I was going to turn it off. Because I was like, if they do comic relief here,
Yes.
while there's a raptor 2 feet away from him, and he flips that thing around because he's blowing in the wrong end, I'm going to fucking murder everybody.
But
I'm calling Mr. Spielberg.
And again, you have to suspend your disbelief so much.
You
that
have to
this-
shoot your disbelief in the face.
that this paleontologist who has never seen a fucking raptor communicate in its entire life perfectly communicate
I need help
a
over
raptor
here.
needing help.
I need help,
And he's
but
like,
not here.
the was it Bobby or whatever his Billy.
Billy.
He goes, no, you need to call for help instead of.
He changes. He goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, let me
Oh,
just
yeah.
change the call real quick.
Oh, my
No, but,
word.
like even wind instruments, you need to hold your hand over a flap or something to get it to change pitch. This
you have
guy-
to get your embouchure correct. Like,
No embouchure needed.
like granted, Alan Grant is a fucking awesome dude, but he is not good enough to recreate raptor calls on the fly.
Under extreme duress.
Oh my god.
With
That would like be me perfectly imitating Italian when like an Italian guy is trying to rob me. Like it doesn't make sense.
No.
Like I couldn't just whip out fluid Italian and
Yeah,
be
like-
like, "Hey,
well,
don't
you,
rob
you
me." I'm
could if
cool.
you had a 3D printed Italian throat,
larynx.
and you were like, "Hang on,
Mamma mia, pasta fazool.
something in Italian," and then all the Italians leave
They run
because
to
they
the
think
Colosseum.
enough.
whoa. You're assuming Italians are intelligent.
Oh,
I can say that I'm Italian.
yeah. My last name doesn't end in a vowel.
So, I guess we're at the end
I
here.
mean, who really cares? Like,
The end of this movie is kind of just tied up with a little bow. They get saved by the
Perfectly.
U.S. Marines or whatever, and
yeah, and,
that's it,
And
I guess.
they go home.
They go
The
home.
Navy shows up and goes, "All the dinosaurs, we need help, but over here." And then no dinosaur shows up on the
and
beach.
somehow 4 pterodactyls leave the island without getting shot, and,
And-
they're gonna go start their life in Cleveland.
And somehow they were found on this island in the exact spot that they were in, and they were sent there by Dr. Grant.
Ellie Sadler.
He calls his friend, and he goes, "The river." That's the
And she's
only
like,
words.
They're gonna be at 42 degrees north, and
The whole time, it's just cry. It's like, what on earth is going on?
He said
Oh.
the river, and she found exactly where they
and
were.
They explain it away with, "Oh, well, you'll definitely have to thank her now. She sent the army and the Navy
And the
It's like-
Navy, it's like,
yeah.
first of all, they don't do joint operations like that.
And also, again, like what Danielle said, how did you know where to send them? This island is huge.
Well,
they could have ended up on any
And
coast.
again, contradicting themselves. The dinosaurs didn't get larger the closer they got to the coast. And it would have been cool if they would have taken, I don't know if you're aware, there's like this whole action movie genre where they're trying to extract people, and they have to like covering fire
Yes.
so that the people can make it safely. Instead, they just send a whole squadron out to surround the people. They were all extras. None of them. They're
like
and I'm the gun asshole of every film in the book. I'm the gun dickhead. They were muzzle flashing the shit out of each other on that beach. There's military guys pointing guns at military guys. And I was like, oh, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was
I'm like,
not
I don't even
good.
know if it would be any better if they're running down the beach while military guys are shooting raptors as they're trying to like escape the
It would have
island.
been cool.
At least it would have been an exciting ending. Like,
Also-
are they going to get away from the raptors instead of him going, "Do, do, 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 do." Oh, cool. I perfectly imitated them asking for help.
They had tanks
Yeah, there was
come onto the
tanks.
beach. So in 6 hours, an aircraft carrier
Yes.
brought tanks and helicopters to the island, but the aircraft carrier isn't in the shot.
They couldn't
so
afford
they,
that.
So they parked the aircraft carrier. Actually, they just dropped them off. They dropped the tanks off,
They're like, we'll come back in 2 hours to pick you
which
up
is
from your
crazy because you can't drive that tank onto the beach because the aircraft carrier is a fucking building and can't get that close to the fucking beach. And it's just some of that stuff. And then they're in a helicopter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
they're
then
just
that-
fine.
Then they're in a helicopter. It's fine. So the tank swam out to proper helicopter distance. Then they went from the tank to the helicopter and then
Yeah.
took a helicopter from Costa Rica to their house.
just dropped them off.
Listen,
That was it.
It was all
It's-
gas. There was just only fuel in that one helicopter. It was
in,
fine.
in the movie about them bringing dinosaurs back to life, this ending was the most unbelievable part.
It was,
Yeah. It would have
Yeah.
been more believable if they
That's-
all got eaten by dinosaurs.
That's a great point. In the movie where they bring dinosaurs back to life, the most unbelievable shit was a tank rolling up on it.
But all right,
Are we done?
made
Are we
it-
done
We
with
made
Jurassic
it
Park?
through Jurassic Park.
and we are not doing the Jurassic World movies.
No.
Unless this video gets 10,000 views, we will not be
No.
doing Jurassic World.
It could get 40 million
I
views.
can't
We're
do
not doing
anymore.
any more Jurassic Park. And then
it just gets more ridiculous.
and then they put
Chris Pratt in it.
Chris Pratt in
Pratt.
it. And then
He does this.
no.
Stop,
Blue.
Velociraptors. We're best friends.
Now, we I think we did a good job with the first two. This one, fuck this movie. But they're all like they're cool dinosaur movies. This one, while it did the coolest stuff,
yeah.
it just sucked.
I think if you're gonna watch a Jurassic Park movie, you're just gonna watch the first one because it's a classic,
just be done with the first
and then
one.
that's good. Like,
Yeah.
and if you want more, the second one at least has cool dinosaur kills. I was gonna say actually, the way these movies are lined up, it's kind of like the new Halloween movies for me because the first one
yeah.
is like solid movie on its own. The second one, epic kills, and the third one kind of just falls apart, and you're not really happy
and
with
then
the ending.
The
Yeah.
end, you're
So-
just like, where the fuck did this guy come
Yes.
from?
Right.
Yes. So yeah, if you're wondering what the Jurassic Park trilogy is,
Just watch Halloween.
Just
Yeah.
watch Halloween.
And it's cooler.
Basically the same. Michael Myers is the metaphor
It's
for the
dinosaur.
T-Rex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're totally cool. But yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much concludes our Jurassic January.
We did the Jurassic January.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm satisfied. I don't.
That's
think
enough.
I don't need to go back.
That's enough Jurassic.
Yeah.
Any.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna watch a Jurassic Park or World
then-
movie for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
The
Good.
newer ones, I know, like we're not doing those, but the newer ones were cool.
If you're
They're-
12.
If you're 12,
Yeah.
that's a very good point. That like, obviously, watch them because they continued on with like
It's still dinosaurs.
it's still dinosaurs.
It's cool.
It's a fucking
CGI is
dinosaur
better.
movie.
Yeah.
The CGI is better. They do some cool shit. They're basically all commercials, and it's the same writing style as like all of the movies that are coming out nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like
insert fucking meme.
Yep.
Yeah.
Insert joke. Oh, we're in a serious situation.
Relatable,
better fart.
relatable pop culture reference that we hope stays relevant by the time we come out with the full
Right.
series of these. But they're
better
still
post
not,
that on my MySpace page. It's like, oh, I hope that survives.
right.
Yeah.
But the dinosaur movies, we took a giant dinosaur-sized turd on this one.
To quote Ian Malcolm, that is one big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
And with that, I think that's everything we can say. Tune in.
Tune in next time where we're going to take a complete left turn and we're not doing anything dinosaur related.
Yeah.
There's no dinosaurs in the rest of the podcast
Yeah.
forever.
From now
There's
on.
no more dinosaurs.
Yeah.
See you guys next
We
time.
will see you next time for, not
Rawr.
dinosaurs.
Steve, I need
some help
over here.
Better go.
Definitely not 2
Nope,
feet.
better go.
2 feet in front of you making the noise. I'm so smart. I'm so smart, but I don't know what's